Boop. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, March the 23rd, 2022. Today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 39, Numbers 13, 17 through 27, and then Luke 13, 18 through 21. And I'm going to take a look at Numbers today and talk about being tourists in paradise because this is the part. Well, you remember a couple of days ago, maybe last week, I can't remember, but we talked about what happened when the Israelites finally got across the desert after being delivered out of bondage and slavery in Egypt, and God gets them to the promised land after much travail, um, which took a relatively little amount of time compared to the 40 years that they then had to spend in the wilderness. Um, but he gets them to the land, and they send the spies in. Last week when we talked about this, I'm pretty sure it was last week. The story was that all the spies came out of the land, and you had conflicting stories. You had Caleb and Joshua who are like, "Yeah, this place is awesome. We need to move in now." And then the other spies who were afraid because the people were really giants, and and the story last week was mainly about how God kind of lost his temper with them. Why they end up spending another 40 years in the wilderness instead of just moving right on in. This is what happens before that. This is when they have arrived at the borders, and God tells Moses to send in the spies. So Moses grabs these people, gathers them up, and tells them to go into the land and see what it's like. And it's really just a 40-day jaunt through the hill country of Canaan. It's a great vacation spot if you've never been. But that's what they do. They go and they just wander through the hill country. This group of guys, and it wasn't a small group. It was a good sized group. Not like what I would think to send in for a low key, high speed, low drag reconnaissance mission. But they come back where they're told to go in, look around, come back, tell us about the land, tell us about the crops that it can grow, tell us about the people. Are they big and strong, or are they going to be a pushover? And then Moses says, "Oh, and bring us something nice, right? Uh, you know, go on your trip and then bring us something nice back." So that's what they did. But here's the deal: this is more of a taste and see trip. I I get this feeling that God had a different reason for what we might assume. It's not what you think. It's not really. I think it's more than just a reconnoitering and reconnaissance mission that they're being sent on. And I think it's because first of all, God was really careful to include all the tribes in this. If you look at the list of people went in, it's pretty much two people from every tribe out of the 12 tribes that are there in the wilderness. And so I think it was to prove to these people that the land he was returning them to, right? It's not just even the land that I shall give you, it's the land that he gave to their forefathers. And he's returning them to that land after their sojourn in Egypt. Um, but he was returning them to it, and returning them to a land that, even though they knew about it, they had no recollection of it. Like, it's been generations since any of them had been in that land. And I think he's warming them up to the fact that, he could have just said, "Okay, today's the day we're walking in," but he's maybe warming them up to the fact that this land that they're about to enter is a better land than the Egypt that they just left, that they had known. And so these guys go in and they spend 40 days in this promised land, and they have to come back out and then spend 40 years in the wilderness. So anyway, he was helping them to visualize this promise. But here's the deal: they fail, we fail, and it's because we prefer the reality of the Egypt we know than the promise of the Canaan that we haven't seen. It's pretty sad, really. Anyway, that's the DBR. Get out and enjoy the day, and we'll be back tomorrow. Talk to you later. Boop.